This is your daily market review for Monday, March 25th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Monday, March 25th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great day. Talked about going into this week that I'm not surprised if we have some window dressing, some things up, some things down. Interesting action in some of the names that have been on fire, certain names down with the Chinese news about chips. Overall, again, I think the market is doing what it's going to do, and it looks like it potentially has, I don't know, I'd say peaked, chopped. I don't know. Is it the yearly high? I don't know. We've seen highs in Marches before. We've seen lows in Marches before. I'm curious to see how this plays out because, again, I'm anticipating a recession based on what I'm seeing economically. Doesn't seem like we'll be able to get out of that unless the Feds go full QE crazy. So if you're new to the channel, please check out the Discord room, links in the description below. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are amazing. If you have any questions about real estate, please do not hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Whether you're looking to buy, sell your home, investment property, second home, anywhere in the country, I can help. Not a problem. Use the Calendly link below. Check out my website, thetradingagent.com. You can also get the Discord link there. Get your Marcus 5.5%. I'm telling you, it's the shiznit. Using it myself. Get your interactive brokers again. Exclusive promotion. Don't be scared. Also, the recommended reading. There's only 3 books you really need to read for trading. It's pretty simple. Also follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. All the comments leave below, hearts. All you guys are amazing. Also follow on the Twitter. Got another, got some deals going through. Got a lot going on. Also follow here because this is where I'm posting my trades. Unfortunately, they used to connect, which was sad. They used to connect in the Discord room, but ever since the new algorithm set up for X, it does not transmit. So if you're following, please check it out. All right. We know May meetings coming up. Man, day before, it's before Memorial Day weekend, if I remember correctly. I mean, I'm seeing right now that nothing until June, potentially. Rate cuts. Man, it's crazy, especially with inflation. Bitcoin got over our levels again. I mean, we talked about watching this like 68 to 60. Was it 1? Why are you doing this to me? Why you do this to me? BTC. $. We talked about having to get over the 68,000. Okay, so far so good. See what happens here. You need follow through. We get over 73. Oil. Yeah, we talked about this. The Feds must be just dying on the vine here. It's got to be tough for them watching this action. Natural gas, as we've talked about, I like it down here. I do a lot. Watching the KLOD, anytime we talk about up in the 150s plus. Again, do not be surprised if the markets do pull back. That natural gas has downside, but I don't think it's limited. I think it's very limited. So just keep an eye on it. Again, always define your risk. Always define your risk. The dollar, watch a MicroStrategy. Holding up pretty well. We've talked about that. So far, so good. TLT, I mean, this is the thing. It broke out of the Fed day range. Now it's back in it. Ugh, not good if you're bullish bonds. We'll just see what happens here. Going to the end of the quarter games. VIX, we talked about them. It gaps up. Typically is bullish. Man, I don't know. It's what it's like. Anybody knows my plays now. Everyone knows what we're looking for. Vivix and Vixen, they're kind of basing here. Not surprisingly, looking okay. I mean, you got levels. Spy guy. Man, another small down day. I mean, look at the volumes. They're just poop. I mean, the down volumes, large. Up volumes, nothing. QQQ, a little double top potentially. I mean, that's what I'd be worried about. IWM closed at the lows of the day with internet. Like I saw it up a couple points and then gave it all back. DIA, this one's been holding up pretty well, but man, that feels, I don't know. It feels like it's like, had this nice smooth trajectory. You don't want to see that if you're a bull because it needs to stay over 392. We'll see what happens. Gold, another one opened high, closed low, or not open high, it popped. Again, I feel like gold's in the chop cycle. Silver's not confirming this action. As we said, we need to get over 23. It's just not doing it. GDX, again, we like all this stuff on pullbacks in time. Man, look at that. Look at that wick. Just gives it all right back. GDXJ, again, these things that you would, again, if the market was healthy, they'd be buying miners, hand over fist. So I don't know. Or just, in my opinion, we're not there. That AEM's been holding up pretty darn well. AEM, AG, all these names chopping around. Newmont, I mean, man, it gets up to almost 35, gives it back, pass, holds up pretty well, but then closes basically flat. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Taiwan Semi. I mean, I think this is the easiest short ever. Something's coming in the future. I don't expect them to hold up. Watch this area in the 140s. MU. Look at this pop. Again, more news. More news helping it out for the AMD and the Intel. Look at this. Interesting action. Hits the 8-day and chopping around. Your guess is as good as mine. NVIDIA. We talked about it holding up into the end of the month, quarter. Man, interesting action, because if you go look at this, chart, you're like, it's not what you want to see. It's not, I don't know. Just be patient. SMCI, we talked about getting over 1,000 was bullish. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because again, you could argue now that there's like a shoulder line here around 1,075. You got to get over that. With the high of the day was 1,072. So Intel, we've talked about this thing, GOOG, and it's just been junk. SMH, again, holding up pretty well. If you got the Soxel on the low threes, I feel like you're sitting pretty comfortably. Watch this. It's about to reverse split too. So Adobe, we talked about this dead cat bouncing after earnings. All right. I mean, again, market holding up okay. Apple has to hold this 170 area. I mean, this thing is just tough as nails. But that's the thing. If Apple's not holding up, you got to be careful. Amazon chopping along the highs. Meta, again, I think Apple, Meta, and Google were named in an EU lawsuit. Good luck. We'll see with those. I mean, that feels like a little double top. Again, watch the 20-day on Meta. CRM, this one's been holding up really well. 20-day, I mean, it gets under it a little bit, but just, I don't know. GOOG, all these names held up pretty darn well today. Doji, I mean, again, I'm watching the 153 area. Microsoft, this is curious because, again, I mean, if you're bullish, I mean, you got to be, I don't know, you got to be careful up here. I don't know what near term, I don't like these chop at the breakout, come back all over the place. Because, again, that means it's just either going to go sideways or it's a trap. All right, NDAQ, again, fake breakout, give it back. MicroStrategy holding up pretty darn well. We talked about it needing to held the 20-day, need to get over this level. I mean, I don't know. Next, your guess is as good as mine. If Bitcoin holds up, this thing's got a 2,000 handle pretty quickly. Netflix chopping around. Roblox hits the 47.8, 48 area. Tesla, or PanW, again, I like this Pelosi play in time. I just curious when to see it. Again, it doesn't seem like it's ready. It's going to pull back. That's when I'd be curious to kind of jump all on it. Tesla, we've talked about this doggy. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't trust this thing at all. Airbnb holding up pretty darn well. Got to give it credit. I mean, multi-day ranges. Keep an eye on those. Good old Costco. We talked about watching the 20-day when it bounced. Now you're chopping around. I mean, this thing has been on fire. I mean, at worst, it has to consolidate. So just, I would leave it alone. We talked about the Starbucks. I went there today. Broke the channel. I mean, it's just been, it's been lagging. FedEx popped on earnings. And then look, I mean, it's just making lower lows off the highs. There's a gap up here around 290s. Keep an eye on it. See what happens. Caterpillar, I mean, these names have been on fire, right? These industrials. Okay. Curious to see how they hold up because we talked about railroad tracks here. So at worst, you're going into a chop zone. Nucor breaking out. Man, but it's just riding a channel. I mean, this is new all-time highs up here. Just worth keeping an eye on. Letter X, as we talked about, not getting bought out by Nippon Steel likely. But if there wasn't a bid, somebody would be bidding after it, in my opinion, at some point. VALE closed at the low of the day. I mean, there's not much to say about these names. I mean, if you zoom out, I like VALE long-term. I just don't know if it needs a trap below 12. I just would not want to get or be early on it. Copper, another one, closed at the low of the day. Supposedly, China's been buying a bunch of copper. I don't know if they're trying to line up something, but they're going to war. They need to load up on commodities. It makes sense. I don't know. Hope not. CCJ, we talked about the 100-day. Look at that. Hit it again. At this point, you're just in a trading range, chopping around. Keep an eye on it. CF, we like to talk about ag names. Whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Mosaic. Chop, chop. If I zoomed out, you'd see they're just in big chop zones. They're just, leave them alone. Alcoa, holding up pretty well. meaning coming off the high or lows. I just, again, a lot of these names are tough to just really get a handle on. You can be careful, whatever you're doing. Anyway, we've talked about XLF. I talked about this outside reversal bar. I like seeing a little red today. JPMO, a little red today, right? Lower lows. Morgan Stanley had a nice rip last week. Lower lows off the highs. Bank of America, lower lows off the highs. Seeing a little trend here. Goldman Sachs, lower lows off the highs. Now, again, are these all traps? You don't know. They're either backfilling the chop or they were the top and you're just going to continue to bleed down. We talked about the carry getting up into the 50s. It had no chance. And when I say no chance, like nothing. Like nobody's buying it up here. I mean, your guess is as good as mine near term. XBI, as we talked about, like junior bios should be ripping. I mean, it breaks. I mean, it just looks good. Gaps up. Looks like it's going to go. Now we're chopping. But exactly, be careful because when you zoom out, like this area matters. And it could be here for a while. It could be a condensing, consolidating, whatever you want to call it before the next move up. Be careful. Just be careful. That's all I can say. Housing, again, watching the housing names, XHB, this feels like a trap up here. Because what I'm seeing with housing, not so great. But we'll keep an eye on this stuff. You know, if you have any questions, again, please reach out. Oof. All right, let's get into solar. Because solar to me is just one of those things where it's like, man, any major pop short, but these just seem to be stuck. Sedgerton, I said keep kind of getting sold. Like just dead cat. ENPH, I mean, you got to love this if you shorted the highs. Holding the 100-day. If it breaks the 100-day in 107, I mean, this thing is going to open the door for a lot lower prices. The first solar, same thing. We talked about like chopping around. If you shorted the highs, now again, this is hard. I mean, if you want, you can be late. I would rather probably be late, meaning like either wait for 200-day or wait for the channel to break. That to me is the simplest way. HYG, again, you've got to be high out of your mind to be buying corporate debt, in my opinion. Like when you zoom out, you go, okay, interesting. Corporate debt, you know, all that commercial debt. I mean, all these company debts. Ooh. You really want to buy that? You tell me. I mean, I'm not going to fight people on that. Oil, as we talked about, holding up pretty darn well. Nice little bounce. UNG, again, I'm not a big UNG fan for natural gas because the thing decays, but I do like shorting KLD because this thing decays. Watching this area, again, set your stops. It could, if natural gas, if something ever really happened, the market just pulled back hard. I mean, they don't be surprised if they throw the baby out with the bathwater, as I like to say. XOP, talked about it coming up into this 150s area after it got over 140s. So far, so good. Today's week, not ideal, but I mean, this thing's been pretty damn strong. ExxonMobil, we talked about this one holding up. Not surprised I got up to the 115s today. Look at that. Fills this gap. Anyone see that? I mean, I apologize I didn't post that, but yeah. Keep an eye on that 115 area. So Valero, these names. It's interesting to see the gasoline names get tired up here because if they get tired up here, that's worth watching because if they get tired, the run's probably over near term. Keep an eye on these things. Again, you can't say for sure based on that action, but I would be careful. CVE has been strong. Someone asked me about the 21s level. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we ran up there and then we take a break. Someone asked that earlier today, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Good find. My man Jay Solstice, some of the folks talking on the Discord room. Once it broke 15, I mean, 15 to 21, not a bad chunk of change, right? Oxy, here you go, holding up pretty well. Again, I think if it, watch that 66, 67, EQT. Again, I like this in time. Let their little buyout go through. I mean, I don't know the downside because, again, it could be something where they dilute stock. I can't remember all the details, but it's worth watching. Last but not least, Flex LNG, because I think we will be natural gas exporters in time. So if you have any questions, please use the Calendly link. Leave a comment. I appreciate all the little comments, all the little hearts, likes, whatever you want to call it. If you have any questions, again, do not hesitate to reach out. If you're going into this housing season, because, again, this is the time of the year when people are going to start buying and selling houses. If you need to make a move, you need to talk about it soon. I apologize, I'm a little busy. That's what's taking my time. There's a lot of folks who are interested in buying and selling, and not necessarily because of the market's hot or not. It's just the time of the year people move, right? You got to move before this calendar year. starts for school. And so people like to get ahead of it. They like to start shopping. They want to look at houses. So if you have any questions about housing, please don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. That is something I am very passionate about as well, because I know a lot of folks don't understand and appreciate the value of a good realtor. Again, even though the NAR news has been bad, but we'll see. Talk to you later.